Well, this is the time I decide to read ridiculous and then vile verses of the Bible. Let me start. Deuteronomy 23:1. No one whose testicles are crushed or whose male organ is cut off shall enter the assembly of the Lord. Exodus 4:24 and 25. And it came to pass by the way of the inn that the Lord met him and sought to kill him. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, Surely a bloody husband art thou to me. Samuel 18:25 and 27. And Saul said, Thus shall ye say to David, The king desireth not any dowry, but 100 foreskins of the Philistines, to be avenged of the king's enemies. But Saul thought to make David fall by the hand of the Philistines. And when his servants told David these words, it pleased David well to be the king's son-in-law. And the days were not expired, wherefore David arose and went. He went and his men, and slew the Philistines, 200 men. And David brought their foreskins, and they gave them in full tale to the king, that he might be the king's son-in-law. And Saul gave him Michal, his daughter, to wife. Deuteronomy 25:11 and 12. If two men, a man and his countryman, are struggling together, and the wife of one comes near to deliver her husband from the hand of the one who is striking him, and puts out her hands and seizes his genitals, then you shall cut off her hand. You shall not show pity. Wow. Poor wife defending her husband. Ezekiel 23:19 and 20. Yet she became more and more promiscuous as she recalled the days of her youth, when she was a prostitute in Egypt. There she lusted after her lovers, whose genitals were like that of donkeys, and whose emission was like that of horses. Wow, one horny woman. Kings 2:23-24. Then he went up from there to Bethel, and as he was going up the road, some youths came from the city and mocked him, and said to him, Go up, you bald head! Go up, you bald head! So he turned around and looked at them, and pronounced a curse on them in the name of the Lord. And 2 female bears came out of the woods, and mauled 42 of the youths. Deuteronomy 23:53-55. You shall eat the fruit of your womb, the flesh of your own sons and daughters, while begrudging your relatives any share of your children that you are using for your food. Wow. Cannibalism in the Bible. Deuteronomy 28:56 and 57. The most refined and delicate woman who refuses her husband and children, her afterbirth and infant that comes out from between her legs as she secretly eats them for food. Fucking hell. Fucking people take this shit seriously. Vile Bible verses. Deuteronomy 22:28 and 29. If a man is caught in the act of raping a young woman who is not engaged, he must pay 50 pieces of silver to her father. Then he must marry the young woman because he violated her, and he will never be allowed to divorce her. Poor fucking woman. She gets raped, and her reward? No justice, and her reward for getting raped is she has to marry her rapist. Okay. Zechariah 14:1 and 2. Lo, a day shall come for the Lord when the spoils shall be divided in your midst, and I will gather all the nations against Jerusalem for battle. The city shall be taken, the houses plundered, the woman ravaged. Half of the city shall go into exile, but the rest of the people shall not be removed from the city. Deuteronomy 17:12. Anyone arrogant enough to reject the verdict of the judge or the priest who represents the Lord your God must be put to death. Such evil must be purged from Israel. Fucking hell, does Yahweh ever laugh? Fuck, this guy needs a good couple of cones. Exodus 22:17. If a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them shall be put to death for an abominable deed. They have forfeited their lives. Leviticus 21:9. A priest's daughter who loses her honour by committing fornication and thereby dishonors her father also shall be burnt to death. Jeez, fucking God's a pyromaniac as well. Kill non-believers. They entered into a covenant to seek the Lord, the God of their fathers, with all their heart and soul. And everyone who would not seek the Lord God of Israel, was to be put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman. Chronicles 2nd 15 verses 12 to 13. And this concludes our reading of the good book.